This is the second day of kefir, and we are going to make a snowman out of kefir. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to make kefir butter. It was my invention by my daughter Macy, who came up with this, and it is really, really, really cute and fun to eat. I put my little Kefir Snowman on Facebook and asked people what I should name him. Now this little guy is made out of kefir butter, and that's how he's made and put together. But we had a bunch of people name him. One was Fermented Frosty, one was Proby, the Biotic Snowman, but my favorite was Kefir Snowtherland. Named after the actor Kefir Sutherland. I thought that was the cutest name of all. So you can name him whatever you want, but this is kefir butter that's made into a snowman that you can put on your holiday table. So first thing that you're going to need to make some kefir butter is kefir. But you don't want to make it with milk, you want to make your kefir with cream. And all of your grains will just process the kefir just like normal. But I have made this the night before, and this is kefir that as the grains have been removed and it's been made with cream. So I'm going to take, it's about 3 cups, because butter also turns into buttermilk too, so you're going to lose some of the volume. And I like to make mine in a food processor. You can do this in a blender. Some of the higher tech blenders don't work as well because the cream is so thick, but you can even do it in a mixer with or a wire whisk. It takes a long time to turn butter by hand into butter, but I like a food processor because it's so fast and I can just stick it in here and kind of walk away. So we're going to place the kefir that I made the night before, no grains, just kefir that's been made with cream, into your food processor or mixer or blender. Pretty thick and it's really, really creamy. But this is how you make regular butter too. This has just been made into kefir first. So all you do is stick it in here, and then you're going to turn your food processor on. And you're going to leave it process probably anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. It's going to start to churn into butter. And what's going to happen is the butter is going to start to clump up, and you're going to see some liquid, clear liquid, which is the buttermilk, separate from the cream, and that's how you know when it's ready. It's kind of fun to watch. My little girl likes to watch me make butter because she tells me when it's ready. See, right now it's starting to turn. You're going to start to see it clear, and it's starting to do that, but because it was warm, it goes really fast. This has only been a couple minutes, and it's already turning into butter. See, this is pretty much, you can kind of take your spatula. No, it's not quite ready yet. It's too soft. You want it to really, really get clumped up. So we're going to do that some more. And the liquid will get clear. It'll be more opaque than it will be creamy. If it's creamy white, it's not done. There we go. Now, when it's done, see, it's kind of, you can kind of see how the buttermilk is separating from the cream. And it's a little bit lighter. You're going to want to take this and place it in a strainer. Doesn't matter, it can be stainless steel. I have to use that all the time. It works great. We're going to just... Now you want to save this thing because you're going to put it back in here in a little bit. But we're going to scrape out all the, see the butter, how it's clumped up inside of here? Which is really kind of fun, especially for kids. This is something I would really recommend making with your kids. They love this, and especially when you turn it into a snowman, they really think it's cool. So here you can see all the butter? And the whey is draining out underneath. Oh my God. You can see all of the, it kind of drains out, but you can see how one of the wonderful things that you can see is how much nutrients are in your butter. And the way that you can tell that is the more yellow your butter is, the more grass your cows have been eating. So if you get your milk from a grass-fed cow, your butter will be bright yellow. This is winter time, so the grass is kind of dying and it's not as yellow as it is in the spring and summer. But you know that when you get butter from a cow that's eating rapidly growing grass in the spring and summer, it's going to be super yellow and it's going to have a ton of vitamin A in it, and that's really, really good for you. They have things in Switzerland where they have festivals for their butter. When it's like that, they said that there is the least amount of heart attacks when the butter's like this, so they celebrate it, and they have a big celebration in Switzerland, and they make butter the big deal at this festival because they prize it because of all the nutrients. It's kind of gotten a bad rap, butter, but it actually, when it's made from cows that are healthy and eating rapidly growing grass, it is a wonderful nutrient-dense food, and it helps you absorb the things that you need in your diet because of the fat-soluble vitamins in it. So can you see how most of the buttermilk, or some of it's coming out here at the bottom, you can kind of scrape it off the bottom and put it back in, but most of the buttermilk is getting drained out. I'm going to put it back in the food processor because you want to make sure to get out all of the buttermilk, because if you don't, your butter won't last as long. It will kind of get an off taste. It's still good, but you won't like it as well. So we're going to put it back in the food processor, and we're going to pour ice water over it, because the ice water will help remove the rest of the buttermilk. I'm just going to put a little bit in over top of it, and then I'm going to spin it again. In the meantime, I'm going to put my buttermilk, because you want to save this. This is really, really good for you. But you want to save your buttermilk. And I'm going to put it in a strainer here. And we're going to save this. You can use this like for everything. And keep it in your fridge. It lasts a long time since it's kefir. It'll last, oh my goodness, it'll last probably 9 months in your fridge at least. And you can use it wherever any recipe calls for butter. Okay, let's do this one more time. We're going to strain it again to get all, and you can kind of just like tip this and hold this in and let see all the buttermilk still draining out, and that's mostly ice water now, because I put ice water in here. So we're going to try to remove the rest of this, and the way that we're going to do that is I'm going to use a paper towel, because this seems to work the best when it comes to removing buttermilk. I'm going to place it in the paper towel and kind of squeeze it real gently. And the other thing that you can do with this, we're going to make this into honey butter, because this is going to be kind of a dessert butter, but you can also salt this as you want, and it'll make it last longer. You know, salt is a preservative. It preserves your food. And if you use really good salt, like Celtic sea salt or Himalayan salt, it works really, really good to make this flavor taste good, and also to make it last longer. So I'm just going to put this in a paper towel. This gets a little bit messy, but it's really, really fun. And we are going to squeeze out a lot of the buttermilk. Can you see it? There's a lot in here. I put a lot of water, and then I'm gonna do it a couple of times just to make sure I got it all. So now we're going to add the honey to make this honey butter. So you're going to unfold the paper towel, and most of the buttermilk should be gone now. And I'm just going to go ahead and plop this in here. These are my little, see my little cute little gingerbread teaspoons, and I got measuring cups too in my stocking last year for Christmas for my kids, because I have a dish problem. Everybody buys me dishes, and I've been doing it since I was a little girl, and these are the cutest things ever, these little gingerbreads. And we're going to add a couple tablespoons of honey. This is from my local farmer. And we're going to add 2 tablespoons. You can add more or less depending on what you like, but I like to flavor this a little bit. First of all, people don't know what this is half the time at my table. But it tastes really, really good. And it's something that's going to last in your fridge a long time. And here's the secret. When you have anything cultured like kefir butter or kefir in general, when you give it a little bit something to eat like honey, it's going to make it last longer, and you're going to get more probiotics from it because it gives the bacteria something to eat, and so it makes it more probiotic. We're just going to mix this together with the spoon. And then we're probably going to let this chill for just a little bit so we can form it into a snowman, because it's pretty warm right now and our snowman will look pretty soggy right now. So I'd chill it for maybe 10 minutes. We're going to stick that in the fridge and then we're going to come back and make our snowman. So you have your 3 balls that we're going to make our snowman into, but we're going to get some more plastic wrap just so we can do it individually. It gets really messy if you don't. So we're going to do one with this, kind of just make it into a ball shape. That's the top, that's the head. This is really, actually surprisingly good, because most kefir gets really sour and this does get a little bit tart. But when you add the honey to it, it has a really, really, really good flavor. And then here is the base. We're going to take him and start with him to form our snowman. And if it's still really, really soft, guys, you can just stick it in the fridge a little bit longer, or even in the freezer for just a minute. Not too long, because then it kind of changes the texture of butter. So here is the base. We'll just place him on the plate. And then we'll get the next one. Put him on top. And they do tend to kind of get soft over time, like a real snowman. Not melt, but you know how butter gets when it sits on the counter. Well, this will do the same thing. If you want to keep it in the fridge, it'll keep it really solid. But so we got 3 little things like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use cloves. Just whole cloves. And we're going to put them for eyes. And I like buttons. Every snowman has to have buttons. I'm going to give him a little button. You can smooth it out with your finger too if it's not smooth. It's pretty forgiving. And this one, we're going to give him 3 buttons instead of coal for eyes. We're going to give him cloves for eyes. And then I got a little piece of a carrot for a nose. I just shaved off a little piece. Stick his nose in there. And then I have some rosemary that we're going to use for hands. Just little pieces of rosemary. You can use other things too if you have. You can even use twigs from your yard if you don't have rosemary, but I thought it was cute because I still have, mine's still outside growing. It's usually by now it freezes, but we've had kind of a warm winter. It smells like Christmas. So this is how you make a snowman out of kefir butter. And there is Kefir Snowtherland.